Hi everyone, welcome to Insider Gyan. Today on this channel we have our first female guest. She's an example of a bold, smart, and a strong and independent woman in the truest sense. Priyanka has completed her studies from IIT Delhi in computer sciences, and then when her technical job couldn't feed her soul, she moved to the creative side. Today, she does writing and travel blogging for a living. So, without wasting any more time, let's hear about her super interesting journey so far. So, Priyanka, firstly, thank you so much for being here and welcome on Insider Gyan. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you, Somi, for calling me. It's going to be so much fun. I'm excited as well.
Yeah, you know what? This video is going to be special to me for two reasons. One is because I've always wanted to have a lot of women on this platform, and you are actually the first woman guest that I'm getting on this platform, which is why it's so special. And yeah, also, I love the work that you do, and I'm sure it has taken you a lot of courage to, been through your life, whatever you have chosen for yourself. So, super excited to talk about it. And before we even begin there, I just wanted to let you know, like, keep inspiring with all the good work that you do.
Thank you so much. Such sweet comments. I hope I can add some value to your listeners.
Would you want to start by giving a bit of background how your now, of course, you are doing travel writing, but how your journey has been pre-writing?
So basically, I'm from a small town in North India. I'm from Uttar Pradesh. My town is Muzaffarnagar. It was on the news for the longest time for all the riots and everything. Where I started, it was basically I went to Rajasthan. I did my coaching there because I wanted to get into the IITs. I was good at science. That was my main reason to think about an engineering degree. I cleared the IIT exam, and then I joined IIT Computer Science branch, IIT Delhi in 2006. So I finished my graduation in 2010, and then I worked in banking. I worked in software for 5 to 6 years. Finally, I quit my job in 2016. But before that, also, I'd quit my job once, and I was trying to figure out some stuff. But it's been now, I think, 5 years since I've worked in a corporate. Of course, I'm working all the while, even harder now.
Yeah,
But it's been 4 or 5 years since a corporate career.
that's interesting. Like, what has been your main motivation to move from like a stable job to, whatever you're doing right now?
I didn't. Now I've written about it a lot, but at that time, it was like I was not enjoying anything that I did. I was not enjoying my software job. I was at Oracle. And I would just feel really really horrible, really sort of crammed up, not just of space, but in terms of innovation, what all I could do. I felt that this is not good enough for me. A desk job is not good enough for me. At that time, it was less of travel. Like, it was not such a big thing in my head that I have to see the world. It was sort of a development later on, but it was definitely I wanted to do something creative. So writing was one of the things that had been there with me since I was younger. I used to write in my diary when I was young. So I used to write like rhyming poetries and other stuff. And then it sort of went away from me because I started preparing for IIT. And I'm sure a lot of listeners as well, that how hard it is. You're just studying for a few years and then you get into the college. And computer science was not an easy branch. I was with some really competitive people, and then I was figuring out what all can I do, and I was not liking my work. So that's how I continuously tried to move away from a corporate career to something else. And that journey began in 2011 with me joining a restaurant as a chef after my day job. And I would go to a restaurant, an Italian restaurant, work a couple of hours because I really love cooking and I want to explore how it is to be a chef.
Oh, wow.
And from there on, I kept moving, and finally, I settled on writing.
That's so interesting. I had no idea that you also had an inclination. I mean, I always see your food posts and they are very interesting, but I
Okay.
did not know that, you had joined as a chef somewhere and you at some point at least you were considering professionally. So how did you then settle on sort of writing as something that you have to do? Was it just by experimenting? Was there like a transition from different things into writing?
So I started like a very naive person who thinks, okay, job is not working out. Now what will I do? And then I thought, okay, what are my creative interests? What do I like? So cooking was there always. I couldn't do it before because I was in hostel and in Rajasthan, and I didn't have a proper kitchen. But as soon as I got my apartment during the corporate life, I was just all the time in the kitchen in the evening and other time. So it was an experimentation of various things that I loved doing. One of them was cooking, one of them was writing. And I finally sort of noticed it more sincerely. I think when in 2014, I decided to do a writing workshop in Bangalore. It was spread over 8 weekends, and it was a creative writing workshop. So I did that, and it was all in the middle of this zest to find something or to rekindle an old love that I could pursue for a longer time. And I joined it and I did it, and it was like, all right, this is nice, and I'm enjoying it. And from there, it sort of picked up. I did some online courses. At the same time, I was also planning to go for a volunteer program in Chile. But by that time, I had sort of settled onto writing because I had explored a lot of blogs, I had explored a lot of creators, I've read a lot of things online, and I realized that it's not hard to make writing a career. It's today everything has a bigger, what would I say, bigger scope.
Yeah.
Everything is on the internet. You can write for so many people. You can publish books, but of course, like, there are blogs. So I started with a medium that felt the most easily accessible, and then I didn't think much.
Hmm.
I was not like, oh no, but what if I don't like it after 2 years? Oh no, what if it doesn't work out? And things like that. Because I've been trying for so long, for so many years. Now it was like, okay, let's do it. We'll see
Yeah.
what happens later.
Yeah, I feel
Mm.
like all of us go through similar kind of journey. I think I have gone through, I won't say, I've hated my job or anything as such, but I've always felt that need to, have something on the side to keep me going creatively. So yeah, that's very
Right.
interesting to know. I mean, it's validation for me also. But so yeah, I was hoping to understand. So at this point, when you were looking for your, volunteer program and the other things, had you already quit your job, or I mean, were you actively planning towards this while you were on the job, or you were more spontaneous?
I was actually planning throughout since a few years. I was planning that this is not it. It's a very long process.
Mm.
I've written like 3, 4 articles on my blog, like combining so much of it, and still not enough has been expressed, and I need to write more. But it was just since 2011 because that's the first time when I had joined the restaurant along with my job. So in the last time when I quit in 2016, it was I had already applied to the MFA courses. I had also applied to the volunteership program.
Yeah, so these days there are so many things, right? I feel like when we were in college during that time, I mean, we did not know about all these options as much. These days we can take a lot of things into our hand.
There is so much more information, so much more exposure.
Yeah.
I didn't know a lot of things until I graduated, and even after I started working.
From a tactical perspective, did you have to plan anything? I mean, I'm just sort of trying to pick into your brains or how your thought process might have been through the transition.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
One thing that definitely comes to my mind is when we are moving from like a steady job to something as uncertain as writing and also starting from scratch. I mean, did you give it much thought on how the finances are going to be or how you are going to manage the business side of things? Because doing something like writing is sort of like starting your own mini business, right?
That's a very good question because we cannot talk about changing careers or following something without making sure that we are, secure
Yeah.
finances. Because I think that's why a lot of things fail in between, or a lot of people have to go back to what they were doing because they think something will work out within a few months, and they don't have enough funds, and they have to go back to a job.
Hmm.
So definitely, when I quit, I made sure that I have enough savings that I can survive at least a few years, even if my journey is rough or it take me time. So I definitely made sure that I have savings. I definitely made a plan. It for me, it's hard to make like Excel plans and stuff, that where you always have numbers written for every year and things like that and budgeted. So I didn't do any of that sort. I know a lot of people do that as well. Um, my style is just one way of doing it, that I had enough savings and I knew it would roughly work out for a few years, but I will also all the time move towards the business side of it. And the business side of it majorly has for me has been that I have my blog that also monetizes for me, and it's just started because it's still a 3-year-old blog and it takes time. I also have freelance writing with me, so it was definitely on my mind that I have to start on a freelance writing journey so that I can write and earn no matter what is going on the creative side.
And
Yeah.
anything from your job life that sort of helped you in all of this?
For sure. I think corporate life taught me a lot about professionalism, how to talk to people, how to send emails, how to approach someone, how to approach a client, when to put your foot down, or how to be in a professional environment. The second thing that helped me is my contacts. I'm still connected to the director from my first company, Oracle, and he still helps me out. He is the one who just very recently connected to my new client. And she's also a woman from IIT Delhi, and she's running her own company, and she wanted a writer for artificial intelligence. So my director connected us, and it's been like 10 years that I
Wow.
worked for him. So that really helped out. Like all these connections always help. The other thing that helped me is, well, that's my education, not per se my corporate career. Like I do a lot of technical writing, so my I wouldn't say only my profession has helped. That my education helps a lot in that, because I have a background in algorithms and well, computer science. So there's a lot of writing opportunities there.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that I found really interesting was how uh, you were in like a banking or like a software engineering kind of a career, and now you're in travel writing, and even then you are able to make use of your contacts, which is pretty interesting. And I think it's a good message for people to sort of always keep building on your relationships, because you never know when
Right,
who can help
right.
when, especially these days when everything is getting so connected. So tell us about your journey a little bit. So right from where you started and where you are today. I have read a lot about your South America trips and blogs. So is that where you started, or was there like a pre to that as well?
Actually, South America was not even a beginning of my travel writing. When I was in South America, I wrote maybe 3 articles and I started a blog that I shut down after that. I named it something very stupid. And I thought, okay, I'm going to write about my travel journeys and other things on it. But I was still, I think, very mature at that time. It was the first time when I had gone on a long trip. I had done before maybe 2 months long, but not that long. South America was 9 months journey, so that was a long time. In South America, I was teaching English. I was traveling. I was learning Spanish, and I was making friends, getting to know the local people. And I didn't really focus. I was reading a lot, and I was writing as well, but I wasn't writing all travel writing. Now I think that if at that time when I was in South America, if I had started travel writing, it would have, so cool. Like because when you're on the journey, I have seen that. Uh, Travel writing comes out different, and you can put it up on social media and it grows very quickly. But I didn't do that. Maybe at that time I put like maybe 10 Instagram posts and nothing more. I was taking notes definitely of the things that I was seeing. So that was very rough notes. But my beginning of travel writing was much later. It happened in, I started writing on my blog in 2017. I started on my canvas. That was about August 2017. And I started writing about a lot about my life experiences. I started writing growth ideas with, I was reading a lot of books like, how to form habits, or how to basically improve upon everyday things. And then travel writing came into picture because I started reading a lot of blogs and I realized that I really like to go around because I had been on a long journey and it was all just coming back to me all the time that I want to go out again.
So now that you've been doing it for a couple of years, would you have any like advice on people who, I think these days people start blogging at a very early age. So any
Yeah.
advice for them who are starting up now, or even if, if they have not, if they've missed the boat, they have not been able to start a blog during their college for whatever reason, and now all of a sudden they realize that they really want to get into this field. What would your like thoughts be?
I think I think there are two, three things that I have really noticed in the past couple of years. One of them is uh, do something that you really feel like doing. Don't do it because someone has 50,000 followers somewhere or someone is really popular on a YouTube channel. Do it because you want to do it, because otherwise there is no way you will be able to sustain. Creative work is not easy. It's first of all, it's a creative field, so you really every day you learn and you progress. Another one I would say is that, of course, like, make sure you're secure, you have food, you have, not necessarily a roof, a tent, anything, a car, whatever, something to shelter you from hard days, and some money, health insurance,
Yeah.
basic things to keep you fine, not worry, so that you can focus on what you want to do.
And I feel
Yeah.
like if at the start itself, if you put too much, pressure on your like passion or the pressure of money, then
Hmm.
you sort of like don't enjoy the process as well. So maybe that security thing, at least to me, it's like very important.
Right. I've seen people, you're very right. I've seen people like do it both ways. Some try to make money out of, like, it's also good that your creative work, uh, or the money pressure makes you push and get creative in your field, chosen field, so that you earn from it, because that's when you really push your boundaries, you really try hard. These are the stories. This is a very inspirational story from Stephen King, actually. As a writer, when he started, he started writing, and he had his whole family, and children and wife, and he was working, but he also, then I think he quit his job, or while his job he needed more money because he had a family. So he was submitting his stories to magazines, and they were rejecting him one after another. But for him, it was like this. He had to do it. He had to earn money. So it pushed him, and he tried to do better and better. So
Yeah.
that's a very, very good story of, making your art, also your money source, so that you try harder, because otherwise,
Yeah.
if you're so secure, you're always going to look at it as a hobby. So I always made sure, for how I applied it in my life, is I always made sure that fine, I have savings, but I also have to earn every month.
Now that you've been through this for a couple of years, do you have any, I wouldn't say learning specifically, but like any mistakes or any things that you would like to change in hindsight?
Lots of mistakes. I think I still make mistakes every day.
Part of life.
um, Part of life. Mistakes, like, when I started, uh, I thought that this writing thing is gonna be a very you know, solitary profession in my own place somewhere around the world, and I can just sit and write these amazing things, and they're gonna come out, and everyone is gonna love them, of course, because I like the idea of writing those pieces so much. But it's all in your head. It's not on paper. It's not how the real world works. In this real world, we have to share our work a lot. We have to meet people, we have to talk to people, we have to get connected in the industry we're in. So that's been a big learning for me. That's been like that. I fall off the radar again every now and then, when I go in my solitary and I just write for 1 or 2 months, and then I come back in on the internet, and I see these opportunities have gone by, and there was this collaboration, or there was this thing I had to write for. But that's part of the journey. The other thing that I've learned also is to have more confidence on yourself. When I started, I always thought, okay, this is just something I'm going to do, but I didn't have that much confidence. So it's sort of in my nature to take these jumps, and even when I'm not like 200% sure this is going to work out, because I'm very positive. So I believe, okay, fine, okay, we'll see. Let's say when I started writing, let's say I had 10 other writers around me, or 10 other travel writers or bloggers, and I felt that all of them are better than me. It's
Yeah.
not even a comparison. So that's been a learning. Let's don't compare yourself to anyone.
Yeah.
That's been a big
I
learning.
relate to your first point so much. Are you an introvert, by the way, or are you like outgoing?
I'm both. If I have my kind of people, I can engage a group of like 100 people in the room and I can talk to everyone. And I won't let a guy or a girl in the corner stand quietly. But if it's like people are not like me,
Mm,
or I get this vibe of very sort of sometimes when people are more, it's not the best word to like high five, if I can say, like a bit more on the outside. And so I like people who introspect more, who are deep
yeah.
inside, who think and are thoughtful.
Yeah.
I'm an
I ask
introvert
you
at the
because, yeah,
moment.
I am an introvert. I struggle with this a lot because when I sort of,
Okay,
started all this travel vlogging and stuff, I
right,
very, very soon figured out that creating the content is one thing, but at the same time, you really need to have that support system who you can, vibe with and need to
right.
build those relationships. And that has been something that I struggle with till today. So,
I understand that. That isolated time is also, I think, important if you're trying to do something creative. You
yeah.
need that time to focus on yourself and think about things.
What will your advice be to anyone who might be working at this point of time and they might be wanting to make a move like you? Would you have any words of wisdom before we wrap up?
My advice would be, I think I've already repeated it, but I will say again that uh, do what you have to do. Don't get influenced because there is so much to get influenced by. Do what you have to do. Believe in yourself. Prepare for it. Prepare for the worst. Do your best. Prepare for the worst. Take it as it comes. It's okay. If it doesn't work out, it's still fine. Get back to it again. It will work out. If you try hard, there is no way anyone can stop you.
That's such good advice. Just today I shot a video. I don't know if you have read this book by Marie Forleo, Everything is Figure Outable. The entire book
Not yet.
talks about this, that if you have a will in your mind, if you train your mind to achieve something, then you are sort of naturally taking action towards it, and then no one can stop you from achieving it. So yeah, that's like a perfect note to end this video on.
The biggest learning that I can share with you from this video is to always have courage to follow your dreams with full intensity at whatever stage of life you are in. Of course, don't be an emotional fool. Plan for it and plan for the bad days as well. But don't stop yourself thinking you are not good enough or log kya kahenge or it feels too daunting. No. Thank you, Priyanka, once again for being a part of this talk. And I hope you guys like this video as well. If you did, you know what to do. Like kar dena, share kar dena, subscribe kar dena, and I'm going to see you in the next episode. Till then, bye.